Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss out on any future messages. Today, I have something important to share with you, but remember this message won't resonate with everyone. I'm hearing that it's specifically for about 6% of you, so if it speaks to you, take it to heart. If it doesn't, feel free to leave it behind and wait for what comes next. The first thing I want to talk about is the concept of being in Egypt now. When I say Egypt, I'm not just talking about the physical country. I'm talking about Egypt as a symbol for your mindset, a way of thinking that holds you back. Egypt represents being stuck in old patterns, old beliefs, and habits that no longer serve you. Think of it like this: when we were growing up, we were taught certain things about what's right and wrong, what's good and bad. We just accepted those ideas without really questioning them. We didn't explore these ideas for ourselves to see if they truly fit who we are or what we believe. Many of us are still holding on to those old beliefs, living our lives based on what other people told us instead of finding our own truth. We follow the path that was set for us, but deep down, we feel like something is missing. We might even feel lost, like life doesn't make sense. That's because we're not living in alignment with who we really are or our true purpose. Instead, we're stuck in Egypt following old rules and ways of thinking that were handed down to us by family, society, or the people around us. But here's the good news: you don't have to stay in Egypt. You're being called to break free from these old patterns and beliefs. You're being asked to take a deeper look within yourself and figure out who you really are and why you're here. This is about finding your true purpose in life, not just following the crowd or holding on to ideas that no longer work for you. Think of Egypt as a form of mental slavery. The Pharaoh, in this context, represents the forces that keep us stuck in these old ways of thinking. These forces could be fear, doubt, or even the expectations of others. They keep us from growing, evolving, and stepping into the person we were meant to be. Right now, you're being called to break free from those forces. It's time to let go of those old beliefs and step into a new way of thinking. This brings me to the story of Moses. In the Bible, Moses was chosen to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, out of slavery, and into freedom. Just like Moses was chosen to guide his people, some of you are being called to lead others out of their mental Egypt. You might have grown up in difficult circumstances. Maybe your family struggled, or maybe you faced challenges that seemed impossible to overcome. But despite all of that, you've been chosen to break free from those circumstances, not just for yourself, but for others too. You've been chosen to lead your family, your community, or even just yourself into freedom. The story of Moses also teaches us something important. When God is ready to use you, He may separate you from familiar people and places. This can be uncomfortable. It can feel lonely or confusing when you're taken out of your comfort zone. But this time of separation is necessary because it allows God to work on you, to build you up, and to prepare you for what's next. Once you're ready, He'll send you back to help others. Just like Moses was sent back to Egypt after being prepared, you might find that your life experiences are meant to guide others out of their own mental slavery. You might wonder, why me? Why was I chosen? The truth is, your life has a purpose. Even the hard times you've been through have a purpose. They've shaped you into the person you are today, and they've given you the tools you need to help others. And your wisdom, your voice, and your power are meant to be shared. You have the ability to speak truth, to heal, and to set others free. This is a time for new beginnings, a time to step into your purpose and leave behind the old habits and beliefs that no longer serve you. We are all in a season of exodus, just like the Israelites left Egypt and started a new journey. We are being called to leave behind what no longer serves us and step into a new way of living. This isn't always easy. Change can be scary, and letting go of old beliefs can feel uncomfortable. But this is necessary for growth. It's time to trust that this new path will lead you to something better, something more aligned with who you truly are. This is a powerful time of transformation. You might feel a strong urge to make changes in your life, to step away from certain people or situations, or to pursue new goals. That's because you're being guided to step into your true purpose. Don't ignore that feeling. Don't let fear hold you back. Trust that this is the right time to move forward and leave behind anything that's holding you down. The message today is clear: you are not stuck. You have the power to break free from old beliefs, habits, and ways of thinking that no longer serve you. You have a purpose, and now is the time to step into it. This is your time to shine, to lead, and to help others find their own freedom. Just like Moses, you've been chosen for something bigger than yourself. So as you go through your day, ask yourself, what old beliefs am I still holding on to? What's keeping me stuck in Egypt? And how can I break free from it? The answers might not come right away, but trust that they will come. You are on a journey of self-discovery and growth. Embrace it and trust that you are exactly where you need to be. I hope this message speaks to your heart and encourages you to take that next step toward living in your truth and finding real freedom. Sometimes God shows us something, a vision, a dream, or a personal revelation, and it feels powerful. But when it comes time to act on it, we can feel unsure or hesitant. You might be feeling this way right now. Maybe you're thinking, I'm not the right person for this. What if people don't believe me? What if no one listens to what I have to say? If you're feeling like that, you're not alone. In fact, one of the most famous figures in the Bible, Moses, felt the exact same way. In Exodus 4:1, when God called Moses to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, Moses doubted himself. He questioned whether anyone would believe that God had spoken to him. He didn't feel like the right person for the job. And he was nervous about what others would think. He was even worried about his ability to speak well. In Exodus 4:10, Moses said to God, I am not eloquent. I am slow of speech and tongue. He was saying, I'm not good enough to do what you're asking me to do. But God had a different perspective. God reminded Moses, who gave human beings their mouths, who makes them deaf or mute, who gives them sight or makes them blind. Is it not I, the Lord? Exodus 4:11. What God was telling Moses was that he has the power to give Moses everything he needed to fulfill his calling. It wasn't about Moses' ability, it was about God's power. Many of us can relate to this. We feel afraid to speak up or use our talents because we're worried about what other people might think. But if God gave you a gift, it's because he believes you're the one meant to use it. You don't need to compare yourself to others or worry about what they think. God has chosen you and he knows what you're capable of. In Exodus 4:12, God tells Moses, now go, I will help you speak and will teach you what to say. This is God's promise to us too. Even when we feel unqualified or unsure of ourselves, he will guide us and give us what we need. You might feel like you're not ready, or you don't have the resources, or maybe you don't have the support you wish you had. But God is asking you to trust him. He's telling you that he will give you the words, the wisdom, and the strength to do what he has called you to do. One of the most powerful moments in Moses' story happens when God asks him, what is in your hand? Exodus 4:2. Moses had a simple staff, something ordinary, but when he used it under God's direction, it became something extraordinary. It's the same with us. We often overlook the gifts and talents we already have, thinking they're too small or unimportant enough. But God is saying you already have what you need. Your gifts, even if they seem simple or small, have the potential to become something powerful when you use them for the right purpose. We all have something in our hands, gifts, talents, skills that we can use, But too often we hold back because of fear. We doubt ourselves or worry about what others will think. But God wants you to step up and use what you have. He's asking you to trust that what's in your hand is enough. Just like Moses, you might be questioning your abilities, but God sees the bigger picture. He knows what you're capable of, and He's ready to guide you every step of the way. Even if you're doubting your calling right now, remember that Moses had doubts too. He wasn't sure he was the right person for the job, but when he finally surrendered to God's plan, incredible things happened. God used Moses to lead the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt. It wasn't easy, and it didn't happen overnight, but Moses became a key figure in God's plan. You might be facing your own doubts, but God is calling you to step up. Even if people don't believe in you right now, they may believe later. You have the power to use your voice, your gifts, and your talents to make a difference. But you have to let go of the fear of what others think. Fear of how others see us is something many of us struggle with. We hold back from stepping into our calling because we're worried about being judged or misunderstood. But here's the thing: Jesus himself faced doubt and skepticism from others. Yet he turned water into wine. This shows that even small, seemingly insignificant things can be transformed into something extraordinary. In the same way, you have the power to take your small ideas, talents, and gifts and turn them into something great. When you use what God has given you, you can create something meaningful, something that can help others, heal others, and make a real impact in the world. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the thought of stepping into something new or unfamiliar. You might wonder if you're really up for the challenge or if people will support you. But the truth is, if God has called you to it, He will see you through it. He doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. That means you don't have to have all the answers or be perfect. You just need to be willing to say yes and trust that God will provide everything you need along the way. So, what's holding you back? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it the opinions of others? Whatever it is, know that God is bigger than your fears and doubts. He's ready to walk with you, just as He did with Moses. He's ready to equip you, guide you, and help you use what's in your hand to do something amazing. Maybe you've been holding back, waiting for the perfect moment or for everything to fall into place. But sometimes the only thing standing between you and your calling is your willingness to take the first step. God is asking you to trust Him and take that step, even if it feels uncertain. He's ready to show you what's possible when you put your faith in Him. In the end, it's not about being perfect or having all the right answers. It's about being willing to trust that God's plan is greater than your doubts. Like Moses, you may not feel ready, but God knows what you're capable of. He sees your potential and He's ready to guide you. All you need to do is trust Him and take that first step. You have gifts, talents, and a purpose that only you can fulfill. So don't let fear hold you back any longer. Step into your calling, use what's in your hand, and watch as God works through you to create something truly extraordinary. If this message touches your heart, I encourage you to read the story of Moses in the Bible. Moses went through many difficult times before he found peace and fulfilled God's plan for him. And the same could be true for you. Life may bring challenges that feel overwhelming, but trust that God is guiding you through these trials for a greater purpose. The journey you are on is part of a bigger plan, just as it was for Moses. The story of the Exodus, where Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, can be seen as a guide for your own life in four main stages: freeing your mind from doubt, accepting your calling, healing from past wounds, and stepping into the path that God has laid out for you. In the first stage, freeing your mind from doubt, it's important to let go of the thoughts that make you question yourself or God's plan. Moses doubted himself when God called him to lead the Israelites. He thought he wasn't good enough and that he couldn't speak well or lead others. But God reassured Moses that He would be with him every step of the way. You may have doubts about your own abilities or feel unworthy of the path you are on, but know that God has chosen you for a reason. It's natural to feel uncertain, but by trusting in God, you can release those doubts and move forward with confidence. The second stage is about accepting your calling. Just as Moses eventually accepted his role as a leader, you are being asked to accept the purpose God has for you. This calling might not always be clear, and sometimes it can feel overwhelming or intimidating. But every person has a unique purpose in life, and yours is no exception. Whether you feel called to lead others, to share your wisdom, or to help people in need, embrace that role. You don't have to have all the answers or know exactly how things will unfold, but taking that first step in faith is what matters. The third stage is healing and letting go of negativity. Just as the Israelites had to leave Egypt behind, you may need to let go of past hurts, anger, or negativity that's holding you back. These things can weigh you down and make it harder to move forward. Healing is a process and it takes time, but by letting go of the things that no longer serve you, you create space for new blessings to enter your life. Forgive those who have hurt you and forgive yourself for any mistakes you've made. Holding on to negative feelings only keeps you stuck in the past, and God wants you to be free to embrace your future. The final stage is stepping fully into the path God has laid out for you. This means fully committing to the journey ahead, trusting that God is guiding you every step of the way. Moses didn't have an easy path, he faced many challenges, but he never gave up. He trusted God's plan even when things seemed impossible. You are also on a journey of discovery, learning more about who you truly are and what you are meant to do. Every step you take, even when it's difficult, is bringing you closer to fulfilling your purpose. If you have chosen to let go of things that no longer serve you, like unhealthy habits, negative relationships, or limiting beliefs, you are already making the right decisions. It takes strength to release what's familiar but no longer helpful. And that strength is leading you to a better place. For those of you who feel called to spiritual roles like becoming a priest, monk, or pastor, you are already doing the work you were meant to do. You may feel that you are just beginning, but know that every small action is part of your greater purpose. God is guiding you to a higher level, helping you move from where you are now to a more spiritual place where His promises will become real in your life. In this process, you are also being asked to develop your talents and spiritual gifts. Each of us has been given unique skills and abilities by God, and it's important to take care of them and grow them. Whether you are gifted in communication, healing, creativity, or leadership, these talents are meant to help you reach the next level in your spiritual journey. They are not just for your benefit, but for the benefit of others as well. Some of you may be struggling with regrets or emotional challenges, but remember that these difficulties are part of your growth. Every challenge you face is a lesson, helping you become the person God has created you to be. God has already saved you from something, just as He saved Moses and the Israelites from slavery in Egypt. Now you are being moved toward the place where God wants you to be. The difficulties you are experiencing are not meant to break you, they are meant to teach you and prepare you for the future. You are being called to step into your true self, not the version of you that others expect, but the person you are deep inside. Society may try to tell you who to be, but God's plan for you is different. He is calling you to live authentically and to embrace the gifts He has given you. If you feel drawn to spiritual paths, like becoming a monk, priest, or spiritual teacher, this is not a coincidence. You are being led in this direction for a reason. You may also have a natural ability to sense things, to understand situations more deeply than others, or to offer guidance to those around you. These are spiritual gifts that God has given you, and He wants you to focus on developing them. You are not meant to follow the crowd or do what everyone else is doing. You might feel different or even rebellious at times, but that's because you are here to share your unique wisdom and spiritual gifts with the world. Pay close attention to the signs around you. God is guiding you through these signs, whether they come in the form of opportunities, messages from others, or even your own intuition. When you ask God for guidance, stay alert to what happens afterward. Often, God answers our prayers in ways we don't expect, so it's important to stay open and aware. Let go of anything or anyone who is holding you back from reaching your full potential. You have a special mission to help others, just as Moses led the Israelites to freedom. You are here to serve, and by doing so, you will achieve great success. And remember that God supports you, even if others don't see your vision yet. Focus on your talents and how you can use them to help both yourself and others. Don't worry about chasing money or success. These things will come as you focus on serving others and living out your purpose. Sometimes the path of leadership feels lonely, but know that God is with you, protecting you and guiding you every step of the way. Everything you are going through right now is preparing you for the future and helping you discover the truth about who you really are. Take time to connect with nature, to listen to your inner voice, and to nurture the gifts that God has given you. These gifts are the key to your purpose in life. You have a mission to guide and help others, to show them the way, just as Moses did for his people. And through it all, know that God is with you, supporting you and leading you toward a future filled with his blessings. You are not alone on this journey. And everything you are experiencing is part of the beautiful plan that God has for your life. Trust in his guidance and continue to walk the path he has set before you.